Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate in on the discussion, like Carrie and Pretty Girl's mom here, hello, you can join me most weekdays where I go live around 4 p.m. Central Time. Or outside of the live stream, you can reach out to me through a Discord that I created, and there's a link for that down in the description below. Also, down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. That Pinterest board has a lot of our family's favorite whole food plant-based meals. So if you're trying to get some idea of what foods that we're eating on our diet, that Pinterest board is the best place to find that. Today is day 752 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 225 pounds so far. I am nearing the end of my 25th month, and I'm looking forward to reaching my goal and living the rest of my life at a healthy weight. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear those. If you have any on-scale victories, I love those as well. If you're succeeding with your diet, what are you doing to succeed? If you are struggling with your diet, what's causing your struggles with your diet? And just overall, what are some of the things that you are doing or can do to make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? So I hope everybody had a great evening last night. I had a good day. A couple people checking in. Cindy says, how about an early day weigh-in today? No, we are not doing a weigh-in today. I don't have everything set up to do a weigh-in. My weight is right around what it has been for the last few weeks. So I won't actually be doing a weigh-in till I get back from the Thanksgiving holiday. And so it'll kind of be a 2-week gap between my weigh-ins, but hopefully that gives me a chance to see the scale go in a better direction, and we'll see how I did over the holidays, which I'm very confident that I'll be able to get through. Let me pull up the food that we had since yesterday. I don't know that I have a lot of great photos. Let's see. This was Sunday. Oh, I did take a couple. Dinner last night was amazing. Yes. Okay. So let me pull this up. Here we go. So it doesn't, it looks very orange, I suppose, here. This was a recipe that Carrie made last night that is sweet potatoes with a red lentil chili on top of it. I'm not exactly sure what to call it or what the name of it is, but it was really awesome. Mixed together with the sweet potatoes, it had a great flavor. We had a lot of the red lentils in comparison to the sweet potato that we had. So I did have a second serving that was mostly the red lentils and a little bit of sweet potato. And then the only other photos that I took of food since yesterday was halfway through my lunch today. I realized I hadn't taken a photo. So this is a couple of the potatoes. I think throughout the day today, I probably ate 7 or 8 potatoes. I just cooked Carrie sent me with a bag of potatoes to work, and I cooked all the potatoes and I ate them. Carrie is saying the name of this recipe is red lentil pumpkin chili, and she posted it on the Discord the first time she made it, and it is also on the Pinterest board down in the description below. I really liked it. Definitely could taste the pumpkin, or I got that pumpkin, almost like uh, a sweet potato casserole or pumpkin pie kind of flavor to it. It was good. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I would recommend that recipe to anybody that's looking for some meal ideas. So that was pretty much the food that I had since yesterday. I didn't actually have breakfast. I had to get out early, very busy the last few months, I suppose, but just in these last few days, getting ready for the Thanksgiving and making sure that everything is set up to go, is been a lot of work. Um, so that was the food since yesterday. Um, Pretty Girl's mom says, I wonder how that would be with some spinach on it with the chili. Anything, we add spinach to lots of recipes. There was the recipe that one of the recipes I showed yesterday. It was like the red lentil soup or something. It was from a cookbook. It was the Esselstyn's cookbook, the Plant Powered Woman's cookbook, something like that. And that had called for a different type of green in it, and Carrie just put spinach in it instead of whatever that ingredient was. But yeah, I'm sure the spinach would be great in there, or added to it, would just add more flavor, texture to it, and it would be enjoyable. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was about breaking traditions and creating new ones. And we all have different traditions. That was the be a plant-based woman warrior cookbook is where that other recipe that I just referenced was from. But I want to talk about breaking traditions and creating new ones, and where the traditions that we're breaking have come from, or what they are, and just the power that tradition has over the choices that we make, especially going into the holiday season coming here. But it's really a year-round thing. It's not just traditions around holidays, it's traditions around birthdays, traditions around work events and promotions, and just everything has this tradition of food attached to it. And it's crazy. It's something that I feel is has been probably part of being human for generations. The giving of food and the receiving of food and the empathy and the compassion that happens, and the kind of got off here what I was but just we hold on to these traditions for many reasons. But when we hold on to some of these traditions, it really harms us in the long run. We don't see it at the time, but by attaching food to all these traditions, it causes us to eat it, and it causes us to eat richer foods that are higher in calorie, higher in uh, uh, dopamine response that it has to the brain. And it's tough to go into a season like we're going into and to see these traditions and to deny what you've always done in the past and what people have always done in the past. But what you have to realize is that those traditions don't benefit you in the long run. And so it's it's very difficult to comprehend that the choices you make today affect you 30 years from now and 40 years from now, because you don't see a direct effect that moment. If the food that you ate made you fat immediately, then people wouldn't be eating a lot of this food. But it's the culmination of all of these events that we use to justify eating these foods that add up to creating detriment within ourselves. The and like I was saying, that it's it's many times the foods that we see around this season are extra rich and they're extra decadent, and it's that little bit of extra love that they put in the food. And um what we have to realize is that that little bit of extra love is actually it, it's it is it's a thing, like it's that it's calories that they're putting in the food. The extra love is the extra sugar and the extra oil and the extra chemicals that they put in the food to make it richer and to make it taste better. And uh it's very much good intentioned. It's like, to give somebody else something that is has so much energy in it, so many calories to it, is something that we couldn't have done for each other hundreds of years ago. The idea of, like one box of chocolate now has more sugar and more calories in it than people had access to uh, in in over the course of weeks. So this giving of food and making of food is something that is very much a part of our history. But the foods that we're making and giving each other are not foods that are really part of human history, because we didn't evolve in a world of abundance. We didn't have the ability to have excess of these foods. We barely had enough food to feed ourselves historically. So to have enough food to feed ourselves and have excess to give other people, and for that excess to be so calorie rich and dense, is not something that is natural. And when you look at the foods that are the traditional foods at these gatherings that you go to, um, those may be traditional foods, but it's like tradition within your lifetime, or it may be something that you've seen it at every Christmas, all 40 years you've been alive, or all 50 years, or however old you are. But that doesn't mean that 60 years ago that existed, or 70 or 80. Like, it's the and in most cases, none of this traditional food what existed before 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Like, lots of these foods that have become traditional foods are newer things, or it's Aunt Mary's recipe, or it's the and they're not really that old. Like, you could create new traditions now that 40 years from now are thought of as traditionally as what you think of as traditional foods today, or for your family, for your offspring, they will become the traditional foods that you have. Amy here says that she has such fond memories of baking Christmas goodies with your mom and siblings. You want to keep that tradition alive, but with healthy choices and with your children. Does Carrie do that with your kids, or any suggestions on recipes? Carrie, we do have some recipes that are like baked goods or sweeter things that we've made with the kids, like brownies. But We don't make a lot of that stuff because we don't keep a lot of those ingredients extra in the house. And But yeah, like that's the thing, is you have to take that old value, you have to break that old tradition, but replace it with a new tradition. It's not, like just like your diet, you can't just remove food from your diet and not replace it. Well, with these traditions, if you remove traditions, replace them with new traditions. And if you can find a way to make that snack that is that can be your new tradition, then do that. But the new tradition doesn't have to be making the food either. Like you said, you had such fond memories of baking goods with your mom and your siblings. You can still make fond memories with your mom and your siblings. They just don't have to be surrounded by food, or with, you're talking about making future with your children. Doesn't necessarily have to be food traditions. You guys could have, homemade advent calendars, or you could have other traditions that you could set up now. That what made it special, like you're saying here, is the time that you spent together. It was, it just happened to be that food was there, or baking the cookies was the thing that was what brought you together before. Maybe what can bring you together now is something different, like we had family tradition to watch a movie around Christmas time, that we always would sit down and watch a movie. Of course, we'd have popcorn and all kinds of other stuff, but you you don't have to have food with your new traditions. And I'd even venture that a lot of these traditional foods that we eat, and the culmination of them that causes this decline in our health, has taken some of these people that were continuing to make these traditional foods because they made it, but because they've been eating those, they did eat those foods, they've passed away since then. So we're holding on to the tradition of them passing with this food that um that who knows what happened. But if they hadn't have been eating this type of food, or eating this way, maybe they would still be here to make new traditions. Diet causes so much uh, uh, decline in our health, that it can cause us to pass away. And those traditions you have and that got passed on, how much better would it be if they had the person instead of the tradition of that person? Cindy here says that this is your second Thanksgiving as a whole food plant-based vegan. You can't imagine eating in any other way. It's about the people you're with. You're going to a vegan restaurant for Thanksgiving dinner. That's great. Yes, it is. This is about the social aspect. This time of year is about spending time together as family, and um and it's that has been hijacked by the food industries because they saw the ability to profit off of it. These traditional foods, somebody's profiting off of you making these traditional foods. And then many times those companies probably also own the health foods that you're going to eat later to diet off the weight that you gain from eating their junk food. But they they profit off of this. The people that are selling the butter and the milk and the eggs and the things to make the decadent foods this time of year, they are profiting off of it immensely. When Christmas started, it wasn't about all this food, like Thanksgiving was about food, yes, but a lot of these other holidays were not about food. That the food industry saw that, hey, people get together during these events, and when they get together, they buy more food. They fill that food with love, which is sugar and fat and oil. So we'll just sell them the food that has that in it already, or we'll sell them the recipes, or we'll sell them the ingredients, and the foods will get even greater and grander, and the foods that you see, everybody has certain candies or certain treats that they associate with different holidays or different occasions in their lives. And so it's and it's somebody's profiting off of that. Somebody's making, money off of your mental space when you remember making those cookies. Maybe it was you used a certain recipe from a company, or you used a certain kit or box to make a cake. Carrie was saying here that the kids help when you make the brownies, but we don't do that very often. You agree that making holiday traditions less food focus should be a new goal of ours. Yes, and having things that are not about food. Cindy here says, for years, Christmas involved 2-pound boxes of C's candies, nuts, and cash and chews that that have been kicked to the curb. Yes, I was thinking about some of the things that I used to eat. Like right now, the cordial cherries was something that I used to love around the holidays, the chocolate covered cherries. And that's something that I have no interest in having anymore. My chocolate covered cherries now is a Lara bar, a cashew cookie Lara bar, um and but those, like I said, those traditions, there was a company that was making money off of me always wanting to have those candies this time of year, and the fact that they limited the majority of the sales to this time of year made it so that they were even more of a uh I can't think of the word, more of a special occasion when it comes out. Sort of like the McRib. When it comes out, it's a special occasion when it comes out. So people run to go get it. Or it used to be. I don't think it's like that anymore. Um but yeah, and so yeah, you have to start finding new ways to build traditions. If it is um food centered, make it healthy food that it's centered around. If you can make it not food centered, try to find those things too. And even uh you could even volunteer and take your family and go volunteer and help people, and that would be time together and giving, and really a lot about this time of year, and really a lot more about the spirit of it than going and making some gooey butter cake or having some sort of pasta dish. So, and so just if you're watching this, after the thing, maybe just comment down below what are some old family traditions that you need to get rid of or that you have gotten rid of, and what are some of the things that you replace those traditions with, or what are some examples of things that um you might find that could benefit you, or there would be different traditions that you could create. um And so that is about all I have for this week. I'm going to be gone till next Monday. I'm excited about the trip. The travel is always stressful, but there's a lot more options. We've gotten better at traveling as we've been doing it more. A big thing, like I said a lot yesterday, is that when you're around the food that you can eat, make sure that you're eating it and you're eating lots of it. Work your best over the holiday here to be compliant with your diet, stick to your diet, be a good example to the people around you so that they can see what kind of success is possible. And that it's possible to stick to a diet and still have fun and still be around um, other people. Carrie says here that she already made some pursed potatoes for the road. So we have potatoes to go right away, and we don't have to worry about giving it a temptation. I'm not very worried about it. I'm excited about getting through this Thanksgiving and not and doing it SOS free again. The first time I did it was Thanksgiving, the first year I did the challenge, I was fasting through Thanksgiving. So I didn't eat anything. And then last year, we weren't great. I wasn't, everything I ate was vegan, but we did have some things that were off diet. So plant powered peddler Janet's asking if we take an Instapot. If my in-laws don't have an Instapot, we will be taking an Instapot. We have multiple Instapots, so that is definitely something that we want to take with us. My computer just said no data. Now it says excellent connection. So I don't know if it's going to jump or what, but yes, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Cindy. They have one, and Carrie says that she still wants to shove one in the car. She's not the one that has to pack this car, obviously, because I have to get 2 adults, 4 kids, 2 dogs into one vehicle. So she's crazy. But you got to keep one full of potatoes at all times. And so we'll be grazing. And that's something that I didn't mention yesterday, but I did yesterday. I kind of grazed on potatoes all day. I did a little bit of that today, but mostly just ate them at one sitting. Yeah, I'm excited for the holiday. Like I said, I want to be a good example. I want to get through this holiday as a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, or with that diet. And plant powered peddler Janet says that they are taking their air fryer and their Instapot with them to make sure that they have plenty. And it's some things that you have to deal with, but it's gonna make things easier, and it is gonna be beneficial in the long run. Like all of these choices, when I make the choice to eat a potato in the moment, it may seem boring, it may not seem fun, but in the long run, I want to spend Thanksgiving with my kids, not just my kids and not my grandkids, but I want to see Thanksgivings with their kids, and that doesn't happen if I eat this junk food. That doesn't happen if I am eating. I don't know. I know it doesn't happen if I was eating the way I was eating. And I see a future where it is happening eating this way. And so that I can meet the future generations of my family, I'm willing to break the current traditions that I have and create new ones, because I want to grow old with my wife and see my kids grow up and be healthy and healthful, not just to get old and be crippled and not be able to move. And so I am looking forward to this weekend and creating new traditions and continuing traditions that we have started since we've switched to this diet. I hope all of you guys have a wonderful week and weekend. I will be back on Monday. I appreciate you so much. If you have not subscribed to my channel, get subscribed to my channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live and post new videos, click on the bell icon. If you haven't hit the thumbs up and commented down below, do that now. And if you haven't started your diet yet, get started today. Get started right now. Don't wait for Thanksgiving. Get the strength to do it now and get started today. Start eating a much healthier diet. Get rid of the processed foods, get rid of the oils, get rid of the dairy, and then, get rid of all of the junk. But do what you can. Get started now, and I will see you guys next week.